who's joining us today from Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Of course, Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LaBerge Casino. A lot to get to today on Sports Shorts. Day 23 of the LSU Baseball Coaching Search. Still no, is it 23 or 24? I'm losing track right now. 23 of the Coaching Search, I believe, TK. It's crazy right now what's going on, and we're going to talk about that. Next up, Tony Vitello. That's the hot rumor mill that he's going to be the next coach, the current University of Tennessee coach who's in the College World Series fighting for his life today in an elimination game. We'll talk about him. Also, Major League Baseball. Did you see what happened yesterday? I know Tommy has some strong opinions on that. They're checking pitchers multiple times throughout the game now, stopping them, checking their hands to make sure there's no foreign substances on it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Crazy what's going on in Major League Baseball. All that, a whole lot more. Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LaBerge Casino, is going to roll on right after this.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at LaBerge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
What's your story?
TK joining us today from Court Street Cafe. And Tommy, every day I just get more baffled. We talked a lot yesterday about Virginia's head coach being a potential candidate, and then our show got stale about 3 hours after we were done when the Advocate came out with a story saying how Paul Mainieri tried to get the University of Virginia's coach, his former assistant, to come to LSU and weeks ago, and he said no chance, no dice, going to stay at Virginia. So now no Mike Bianco, no Jim Schlossnagle, no O'Sullivan, no O'Connor at Virginia. Cliff Godwin got interviewed and still hasn't had an answer, yes or no. Hasn't been contacted by LSU since the interview. So therefore, I mean, it's starting to be by elimination, right? I mean, Tony Vitello seems to be next up on the rumor mill, spin the wheel on LSU baseball coach.
That's definitely the next rumor. That's a hot rumor in the last 24 plus hours. You know, and Ronnie, we said last week on Sports Shorts Daily and Sports Shorts Radio, we thought the next LSU coach was coaching in Omaha. He fits our little prediction there, and he play at 1 o'clock today. If they lose, they'd be eliminated. And if it's accurate, some of the stuff being reported, then I'm guessing tomorrow or so, Vitello's named LSU coach. He makes about $600,000 at Tennessee. Talking about paying him close to $2 million to come to LSU. There was an excellent spoof on social media that he was sitting in Gino's restaurant and said he couldn't get this kind of food in Knoxville. You know, he's Italian and all this. Played at Missouri. He was an infielder. Played for Tim Jameson, who's a former UNO privateer catcher under Ron Maestri. So there's that's not really a tie, but Tim Jameson, a lot of fans of college baseball, and you were part of the UNO program for a while, and I competed against him many times, and I competed against Tim many a time. So, but Tony Vitello, he played at Missouri, then he was an assistant coach at Missouri under Tim Jameson, then he went to TCU, then Arkansas, and now he's been in Tennessee. So the resume is kind of there, other than no major accomplishments other than getting the Vols to Omaha this year, and they're 0-1 going into the 1 o'clock Tuesday contest.
You know, he does have the pedigree from a standpoint of the SEC, right? He spent the decade of the 2000s at Missouri as a player and as a coach, and then was with Jim Schlossnagle for 3 years, and Jim Schlossnagle's thought of as a top 10 coach in the country, maybe even top 5 coach in some circles. We know Van Horn thought of as a top 10, top 5 coach in some circles at the University of Arkansas, which is where he was for 4 years. So he's got a good tree. and then, of course, has had success, has turned that Tennessee program around. They've been relevant since he got there. And, of course, but here's the thing, Tom, you mentioned, making somewhere in the neighborhood of $600,000 a year. Clearly, he's going to get a raise, even if he stays at the University of Tennessee. He's going to get a raise from 600 up to at least $1 million, because they sold out their stadium throughout the year. They're going to sell out their stadium next year because of him. So he, LSU again is going to have to step it up. I mean, as you mentioned, the number is going to have to be close to $2 million in order to get him to leave a program that he's clearly shown he can have success. And oh, by the way, outside of Vanderbilt and Florida, I don't know. In football, the SEC West is clearly the better conference. I don't know if that's the case, right, Tommy? I mean, when Arkansas, Mississippi State, A&M, those teams are going to be pretty consistently good, but I don't know. What do you think in baseball?
Well, it's very close. I mean, the East is closer to the West, if not ahead of them in baseball as opposed to football. And here's Tony Vitello's connection to LSU. You want me to draw this picture for you, Ronnie? Okay, there we go, Ronnie. Fixing something over there. Tony Vitello has a connection to LSU, and it'll when I say this, it'll jog everyone's memory. Tony Vitello was an assistant coach in the dugout, the Rally Possum game against Arkansas. I was working for the SEC that year. I was next to the Arkansas dugout. Now, I don't remember much about what happened when the Possum came out, but Vitello, I remember meeting him, and he was a pretty good guy, young coach at the time. But he was in the dugout for the Rally Possum game when that was a late game on a Saturday night. And Sunday morning, early that morning, they had Rally Possum T-shirts all over the parking lot at Alex Box Stadium. So that's the hot rumor now, Tony Vitello. He played at 1 o'clock today. He's not going to say anything. If they lose, he's not going to say anything. If they win, obviously they'd have another game. So we'll just have to let it, as Ronnie Rantz has said all along, let this thing play out. As I've said, trust Scott Woodward that he's going to do the best he can do for LSU baseball. Hey, appreciate Craig Schilling. Okay, good question, Craig. Paul Maneri is the answer to your question. When Nolan Cain left to go to A&M, they made Paul Maneri the point person in dealing with recruits and with current players. If they had questions, they wanted to know something. Paul Maneri is handling that. Obviously, he's still on the payroll at LSU, and I'm sure he's happy to do that. And he is the point person right now, talking to people on behalf of the LSU baseball office. And certainly that's a good thing because he kind of would know what's going on, who's who, what's what. He knows what's behind the door. So Paul Maneri is the answer to that question, Craig. And I think that it's a big question, and the recruits want to know. They want to know. Current players at LSU want to know. Do they get in the transfer portal? Because they can be immediately eligible. We know that. So there's a lot of people that want to know. A whole lot of people that want to know who the next coach is, including Ronnie and I, and all our fans on Sports Shorts Daily. By the way, like and share this video. Please do that. That helps out the cause, whether it's for the LaBerge Casino and Hotel or Court Street Cafe here. Court Street Cafe, it's restaurant week over here in West Baton Rouge. They've got evening specials. They got the lunch specials. Connect with Court Street Cafe on Facebook and Instagram. They do a great job of letting you know what's happening. Court Street Cafe, 805 Court Street in Port Allen, 2 minutes on the other side of the bridge. So again, check them out on Facebook and Instagram. Court Street Cafe. We'll be looking forward to you doing that. Today, the lunch special is pot roast. And then, of course, they got the restaurant week evening specials from crab meat au gratin to grilled mahi-mahi or the big prime cut Angus ribeye. Court Street Cafe participating in the West Baton Rouge restaurant week. All right, let's go. Got a little message from Ronnie. We got technical things here, but we'll keep it going here. Let's see. What a pitcher's duel last night. Let's see. 1-0, huh? How about that? Vanderbilt gets beat 1-0. Great job by Leiter. And they just couldn't hit the ball. They got 2 hits. Here's somebody says they don't want Vitello as the new head coach.
All right, you know
what? No matter who they hire, not everybody's going to be happy. Let's put that. Let's do the ground rules. No matter who gets hired by LSU, not everybody's going to be happy. But if you're an LSU baseball fan, you get behind the program, you get behind whoever they hire. Hey, Ronnie, good to see you again.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I got you fine.
I don't know. Could you hear me when I was rambling there?
I did not. I was.
Okay.
We went off the air. Technical difficulties here.
All right, well, we told everybody about Court Street Cafe. We talked about the connection of Tony Vitello to LSU. You want to know what it is?
What is it?
He was in the
Famous
dugout.
Pulmonary?
No, he was in the dugout for the Rally Possum game.
Right. That's
the year I worked for the SEC, and I was right next to the Arkansas dugout. Now, I don't know what he thought about the Possum, but he was on that staff the night of the old Rally Possum game against the Razorbacks 5-6 years ago, whenever that was.
By the way, speaking of that Rally Possum game, just a little fact for you on that one. How about the fact that Brennan Bro came off the bench and got 3 hits in that game, the former St. Thomas More Cougar, who's played a couple years at LSU. Then he transferred to UL, played for the Raging Cajuns. He just finished his eligibility this year. So Brennan Bro played till he was 25, thanks to the COVID and transfer. You have 5 years to play 4, got an extra year. So he played 6 years. And had a nice career for the Raging Cajuns, and was a starter, last couple of years, and did real well. So glad for him. It was a good move for him to go to UL and have a nice career over there. But that's how long ago it was that Brennan Bro was a Tiger, had 3 hits off the bench, and now he's playing. So people don't want Tony Vitello, and my question is why? Why? Just because he's a little outgoing, he's a little animated, he's fiery. Here's the thing about Tony Vitello, in my opinion. If he's your coach, you'll love it. If he's the other coach, you hate it. And so I think LSU people are going to quickly get over, if it is, in fact, Tony Vitello, the next coach at LSU, I think people are going to quickly get over the antics and the things. Because, quite honestly, you complain that Paul Mainieri maybe didn't show enough of that, right, the last few years, that he was pretty reserved and – maybe you wanted a little more fire in the dugout, a little more fire from him. Well, you're going to get that in Tony Vitello. So usually whenever you break up with a girlfriend, the next one is the opposite of what you broke up with, right? Well, this is a breakup in essence of Paul Mainieri retiring. You're going to get rid of one guy. You're going to usually hire somebody who has the attributes that maybe you didn't like in the coach that you'd had for 15 years. And so I think that's what you're going to get in Tony Vitello if he's the next coach.
I want to magnify the point you made. When he's in your dugout, it's okay. When he's in that other dugout, you can't stand the guy, okay? I'll make an example. Maybe this is good or bad. Most people don't like Nick Saban, but Alabama players and fans do because he's on their sideline. So, But, hey, I like the piss and vinegar. I like the fire and upness. He's 42 years old, okay? Coach Mainieri's 63. I mean, Coach Mainieri could be his father. So I wouldn't have a problem with that cockiness. All the great coaches, all the great athletes have that DNA of being, going to pop off. He had to dust up with Van Horn during the SEC tournament. I'm good with that. Hey, you know why? Because the players appreciate it.
Right. No, I agree with it. This would be a get for LSU if they got Tony Vitello, regardless of the fact, like the guy beat LSU 5 times. That hasn't happened since Skip Spurtman's first year as a coach. In '84. If you get him, you're getting a coach that's young, a coach that's the hot commodity in the country, a coach that could probably be your coach for the next 20 years if he wants. This is a long-term play, and he is a recruiter. The word I've heard described by other coaches is he's a relentless recruiter. Hey, you know who they got as a relentless recruiter, Tommy? Will Wade. Will Wade does whatever to get it done. And I have no doubt that Tony Vitello, if he's the next head coach, will do whatever to get it done. And I think LSU's proven they're okay with that.
Well, and again, let Scott Woodward be in charge. He's the AD. His track record speaks for itself. If it is Vitello, I'm going to be fine with it, and I think it'll be good for LSU baseball.
Kirk Paul says O'Connor would have been a better fit. Stephen Miller saying, hey, good morning, fellas. Eric Dulian, thanks for watching. Devin Steve, what a great pitcher's duel last night, no doubt about it. Kirk Paul says, I don't want Vitello as a new head coach. I don't want LSU being the heel of college baseball. Well, I mean, they might clean it up a little bit. I think when you are at the lesser program, Tommy, like what Tennessee was, and you're the up and comer, you probably act a little differently than you do. Look, he was with Van Horn, and Arkansas did it with class and didn't act that way when he was there. TCU didn't act that way when he was there.
He'll be just fine. He did win the East Division this year. Keep that in mind.
Thoughts on the Catholic High fallout? Craig Schilling. Quick comment. I know it's off script a little bit, but you saw what happened. Catholic High Baton Rouge stripped of its 2 state championships, 17 and 20, due to some alleged recruiting allegations. We don't know what those allegations are. It hasn't come public. There's only whispers, but what's your fallout on that?
Well, a lot of people upset because they took McKinley out behind the woodshed in Scotlandville a few years ago when they made some mistakes. But then the LHSAA passed something that they wouldn't make public things anymore, I want to say in 2018, because it looks like a double standard. I got to tell you what happened to Catholic, but they told you about McKinley. It's supposed to treat all the schools the same. But the LHSAA apparently can't say anything due to some new bylaws, but it's up to the school. And Catholic High released a statement yesterday. I read it. It didn't say much, but they are giving up 2 state championships, 2 state runner-ups. They say all current players are eligible for the fall. And there's no consequence to the school. Now, they paid some fines. I don't know the amount. It was probably a decent amount. But there's no consequences going forward for some mistakes that were made. But, you know, it's unfortunate, and it's egg in the face on Catholic High. They broke some rules. They got caught. Lots of people break rules. Not everybody gets caught. Hopefully all schools learn from this.
This is tough, Tommy, because unless there is a smoking gun in college and high school, to say one person recruits over another, I mean, you literally have to have almost like an FBI audio tape. You have to have a text message with an offer. You have to have a canceled check where somebody paid for someone's tuition if it's a private school. But the thing that I always say, that always is interesting to me when people talk about recruiting in high school, if I'm a realtor, if I work for a realtor, I'm a realtor and I'm selling a house, the first thing I tell a parent is, ooh, this is a good school district. You need to buy this house and move to this part of town in XYZ city because they have a great school. They have a great athletic program. But somehow, if I'm the football coach, I can't do the same thing. But yet everyone else makes their decisions in life based off of good school, safe school, good education, great athletic facilities. But yet we have to act like they don't. But yet if I'm a realtor, if I'm a mortgage business, or anything, I'm going to take a job. It all has to do with education, school zones, all that sort of thing. But yet when it comes to, you know, we're going to act like, ooh, you're such a bad guy if you do the same thing in high school athletics. I don't know. Well, this is not good for the select, non-select argument, no question.
One thing I do want to say, because I got asked this last night, somebody turned them in, okay? The LHSAA does not have the manpower to go snooping around 300 schools, whatever they got in the state at all classifications. But they do react when somebody submits something to them saying so-and-so did something wrong, or we got reason to believe that this happened. Then they look into it. That's what happened here. Somebody brought it to their attention. They looked into it, and then Catholic High, you know, now is going to have to get rid of the state championships, and it'll say vacant. They're not going to give the runner-up team the title. It's going to say vacant in the history books. They'll have to take the signs down in the gym and wherever else they got it. And I guess the kids keep their rings. I don't know, but you know, it's unfortunate that this has happened, but it has happened.
By the way, Devin Steve says old Gabby got out at the right time. Talking about Gabe Fertitta. Curious.
Well, that's the thing. Ago. That's the, you know, right. He all of a sudden bolts after being in the state championship game 4 years and 3/4 of the staff is gone. Well, they knew this was coming down the pipe because this didn't come up last week. So they knew for months, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. The statement by Catholic High did not name any coaches. It did say that it's nobody on the current staff. So you can 2 + 2, you can do the math.
Carl Ritter says, you think Tennessee would not match anything LSU would offer? No, they would not be able to go to $2 million for a baseball coach. And by the way, look, this guy's been in the SEC for many, many years, whether it be in Missouri or Arkansas. He knows the inherent the benefit that LSU has, being that program, that facility, that recruiting base in Louisiana where all the talent is, versus Tennessee. A lot harder to get it done in Knoxville year in, year out over the long haul. And, oh, by the way, they got to build a new stadium. They're talking about building a new stadium, but they'd have to build a new stadium. The Raging Cajuns, UL Lafayette has a bigger stadium than what University of Tennessee has. That's all you need to know. All right, TK, let's talk about Major League Baseball before we get off. Last night was the first night of the new rules where they checked the pitchers randomly throughout the games for foreign substances on their hands and hat. What was your takeaway after watching SportsCenter and seeing the montage of all the checks going off the field?
It was laughable. It's embarrassing for Major League Baseball. I thought they were all getting ready to get on an airplane. Got to take the belt buckle off and the shoes off and give me the hat. I mean, there's got to be a better way to do this. I'm surprised, like you said yesterday, they're doing this in the middle of a season. They must think it's that big of a problem. But there's got to be a better way to do this. That's just embarrassing to Major League Baseball. Let that sink in. Major League Baseball, and then they're putting it all over every camera every night, every morning. That's all you're seeing now. You're not seeing the double play. You're not seeing the walk-off hit. You're seeing this accostation of these pitchers. And I hope nobody gets caught. I hope nobody is breaking the rules, because then they're going to go through all this and not find anything. Come on. I mean, Major League Baseball, you're supposed to be better than that. This is a scar on the season, no doubt.
No question about it, TK. It is a scar in a big way on the season. He's Tommy Krysan. I'm Ronnie Rantz. Don't forget Sports Shorts Daily, Monday, Tuesday, and most Thursdays. We'll be off this week due to Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame induction going on, but we'll be back on Monday to tell you all about it. And just to remind you, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, we have our induction going on this Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Natchitoches. If you folks are anywhere up in the area, want to come up to Natchitoches or join us in Shreveport for our bowling event, celebrity bowling event, which you can be a part of. All of our events are open to the public Thursday, Friday, Saturday. For tickets and info, go to lasportshall.com. You can be a hangout with Phil Robertson, Tim Brando, Kerry Kittles, the former NBA star, and many, many more. Go to lasportshall.com. You told us about Court Street Cafe. They're going to be open for lunch. Fantastic place. And, of course, brunch on the weekends.
Yeah, Court Street Cafe, they're part of West Baton Rouge Restaurant Week, big specials at night. And don't forget, Tremonti's Meat and Seafood still got crawfish. $1.99 a pound today while supplies last. You must call and reserve them. But Court Street Cafe, the best thing to do is connect on Facebook and Instagram.
I can assure you this, Tommy. Well, no, I'm not going to do it. I was going to assure you that the next time you joined us on Monday for Sports Shorts Daily, we would have a new LSU baseball coach. But I'm not going to do it. Because
I'm going to say I'll bet a Diet Coke on that. I think we'll have a coach. Here's what we got to do. Ronnie, if they name a coach tomorrow, we got to figure out a way to
we'll figure out a way. We'll have an impromptu Sports Shorts Daily.
Even if it's 10 minutes. We got to give it to we appreciate our fans. They like, they share. We got to give them something if they name a coach. But maybe by Monday they won't.
All right, we'll talk. We'll check us out Monday at 10 a.m. But again, if we have a coach name before then, we'll do a special 10, 15-minute Sports Shorts Daily to talk about the new LSU baseball coach whenever it happens this week. For Tommy Krysan, I'm Ronnie Rantz. Thanks.